What's up, ladies and gentlemen? The one and only James Williams, Dog Waters, and I'm back. And we touching on the news today. There's a lot going on. Donald Trump is about to bring peace by any means necessary. The Democrats have lost their mind as usual, and they're spiraling out of control. And that's what we're about to talk about. Peace, war, and Democrats being full-on tards. Deuces, see you soon. Hold on one second. We're about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dog Waters channel, where we explore mysteries, figure out the truth, dive into politics, and anything else you want to know about. That's what we doing over here, baby. Let's go. It's James Williams, Dog Waters, and I'm back. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to apologize for the audio because as of right now, my big microphone, the stand is broken on it. And so what we find ourselves dealing with is this little bitty lapel mic. And it's just not that good. But nonetheless, I have ordered one of those bars that come over and the microphone's in front of your face like you're a real professional broadcaster and all the rest of this. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let us discuss what is going on. Now, first of all, I missed you guys. I didn't do anything yesterday, mainly because yesterday was a day to prepare for Bible study. And I want to do my own personal Bible study because I don't want to prioritize the things of this natural world over the things of the spirit world, because it's the spirit realm is where you get answers to the natural realm. And so if you don't spend some time hanging out there, when you see somebody like Al Green, who looks like a 1960s singer, a Section 8 Baptist preacher, then you might be fooled by him. You might be fooled by them singing "We Shall Overcome" in the well of the house. And you may be pulled into the emotional rants and ragings of psychopathic Democrats. Or you may be brought into depression by watching these lunatics over and over and over again. And I refuse to be moved by any of this foolishness. And so now we are here and we are back and we're here to discuss what's going on. So the last time I talked to you, I told you Zelensky had problems on his hands, right? So since then, Zelensky has found himself in a situation where all the arms were taken away from him. Every amount of military aid that was sent to him, even aid in transit, was turned around. And he wrote a letter to the president. The president told him, Zelensky, you're going to need to come out and make a public apology. But Zelensky is so prideful, basically, he's a dragon of pride, that he won't apologize. And so then Donald Trump says, okay, Zelensky, you're not going to apologize? Let's cut off the intelligence. And I told you guys then, when it came out, that Trump cut off the intelligence. I said that intelligence is what's needed to shoot those missiles. So then it says he turns off the missiles. So this is step 3. So you didn't apologize. I turned around your aid. You didn't apologize. I cut off intelligence. And I told Britain to cut off intelligence. Then you didn't apologize. Now I cut off your missiles. Then the next phase was, now there's news stories coming out saying they're having discussions about who's going to replace Zelensky. Donald said it himself when he said, if he doesn't come to the table, he won't be around much longer. People will be talking to someone else. They'll be talking to someone else. And he told the man, basically that's what it was. And quite frankly, what we're seeing is the end to the Ukrainian war. I would like to say it's over now, but I don't think I can't confidently tell you the Ukrainian war is over at this moment. I think we see the beginning of the end of the Ukrainian war. It's common sense. You see it. If Zelensky can't shoot missiles into Russia and he don't have the troops, and all we need is a night of Russia just bombarding them, which I'm pretty sure if I was Putin already did this. Turned up the heat while he couldn't defend himself, then I think we're at the end of the war. With that being said, lefties are going crazy all over the place. And we're going to start off with leftist Democrats. Now, you remember the TV show, the movie Elephant Man? You remember that? With the little boy, the Elephant Man? It's amazing how these hardcore leftists tend to physically personify things that we saw on TV as children, whether it be Dark Crystal with the little bird creatures, or whether it be Zelensky, who personifies the Cookie Monster. Blah, 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 blah. I am Zelensky. I need more money. Give me more cookies. They just it's like they personify things from TV. But here's one. Girl, go ahead and talk.
Woke, proud to be a liberal, proud to be a Democrat. Hell yeah. What does that mean? That means that I care about everybody. That means I care about the USA. That means I care about our air. That means I care about our parks, our oceans. That means I care about what is going on. That doesn't mean that I am a MAGA, which is a racist Republican. There is a complete difference. You can.
And what's wrong with all they necks? What's wrong with all they necks? I'm telling you, it's got to be some lizard people. It's got to be hybrids, man. What's wrong with this? What is this thing? Now, I'm gonna let her keep talking, or it keep talking, or they, them keep talking. Legion, keep talking. Jesus, what do you have to do to us? Did you come to torture us before our time? That's what I'm looking at. But the philosophy of the woke liberal is crazy. And see, we getting to the point now, ladies and gentlemen, where the wokeness is being carved off of the average Democrat. I'm happy for the average Democratic voter because they're getting ready to carve out the crazy. Because see, so far, the average Democrat they've been held hostage by crazy. I mean, let's just keep it real. They got a gun to their head and like, yeah, you gonna take this LGBTQBRT and yeah, you gonna let these boys play sports or else I'm gonna bust your head. I'm gonna bust the head of your party. So they've been held hostage. I mean, it's clear they've been held hostage by a bunch of lunatics.
You can be a Republican and you're not a MAGA and you're not a racist piece of shit. But yes, I will always stay woke. I will always be a liberal and I will always care about my country, the United States of America. Yes, I love America. I love what it stands for. I also love our Constitution. You will never break it, rip it, or burn it. You're stuck with it. Proud to be woke.
You proud to be woke? You proud to you like the Constitution? And see, what we're seeing is the mental gymnastics of people trying to figure out how to separate themselves from the madness, the insanity, the virus that has infected the Democratic Party. People going through the mental gymnastics. I'm woke, I'm a liberal, I'm a Democrat. You should drop off the woke. You'd be okay if you said you were liberal, which means you were anti-war. We didn't hear anything about anti-war, so she's not a true liberal. She's just a run-of-the-mill Democrat. Nah, you're not a run-of-the-mill Democrat. You still crazy. And that's what it boils down to. And when I say that Donald Trump has broken the Democratic Party, he is literally like an iron rod to a clay vessel, broke them. And the problem that they had is the problem that we identified months ago. There is no true leadership. And because there's no true leadership, there's this confusion. Like, let's go back to this gentleman right here, to Al Green, to the fake Barry White. There's confusion everywhere. And that confusion and that chaos is what, quite frankly, the hardcore radical liberals seize upon. And they thrive in that confusion.
Walk out. I gathered my coat, I had my cane, and I was going to make my departure. But as I was doing so, the president had just made his statement about having not a landslide, but having a mandate. And I was caught up in the moment. I didn't go to do what I did. I was caught up in the moment, and I turned and I said to him, "You don't have a mandate to cut Medicaid."
Now he was caught up in the moment. If you recall the last video, he came out there and he told him, hey, he didn't have him. He was real bold, and all of a sudden he was caught up in the moment. See, this is crazy. The man was saying, yeah, I'm willing to pay the consequences for my action. Yeah, I know what actions I took. I'm willing to pay the consequences for my actions. Now he going victim. I was caught up in the moment. Everybody, we're gonna talk like Al Green. First of all, we're going to let him talk a little bit.
And the speaker gave me an admonishment. I continued, and he gave me another admonition, and I continued, and then I was ordered to be escorted out of the chamber. And I complied. And the people who escorted me out were very kind. I hold no animus toward the speaker. He did what the rules required. The president that evening called the Democratic members of Congress lunatics.
Bro, you literally behaving like a lunatic right now. TMZ should just be like, look, bro, let's play what you said when you were first kicked out. Matter of fact, we got it somewhere here. Hold on. This is the problem with dealing with these people. You got to literally go back and show what they were saying. Where you at? He act like he got kicked out 10 weeks ago. You got kicked out 4 days ago, man. 4 days ago. I love this guy right here. We're going to talk about him in a second. John Shrek. You don't nobody want no smoke with John Shrek. The level of crazy that Shrek has, I don't even understand how anybody would even want to deal with Shrek. We're going to talk about her too. I love her. Come on, we looking for Al Green. Love and happiness. Yeah. And make it do wrong, make it do right. Hey, love. All right, here he is right here. Now, let's just see what he had to say when this happened. This was on the 4th. Today is the 6th. They act like you can't go back and figure out what they had to say.
So what were you shouting to the president?
The president said he had a mandate. And I was making it clear to the president that he has no mandate to cut Medicaid.
All right, now, he seemed real arrogant right here, right? The president said he had a mandate. And I was making it clear to the president he had no mandate to cut Medicaid. Listen to him.
So what were you shouting to the president?
The president said he had a mandate. And I was making it clear to the president that he has no mandate to cut Medicaid. I have people who are very fearful. These are poor people, and they have only Medicaid in their lives when it comes to their health care. And I want him to know that his budget calls for deep cuts in Medicaid. He needs to save Medicaid, protect it. We need to raise the cap on Social Security. There's a possibility that it's going to be hurt, and we've got to protect Medicare. These are the safety net programs that people in my congressional district depend on. And this president seems to care less about them and more about the number of people that he can remove from the various programs that have been so helpful to so many people.
I'm going to stop and pause right here and say this. One of the colored folk that happened to stumble across my video, they started off with, brother, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. All people are suffering because they not getting their Medicare and their Medicaid, brother. First of all, I ain't your damn brother. I don't know you. We ain't grow up in the same household. We don't have the same mom. I want to be clear with you. I ain't your brother. Second of all, if you support a clown like this, whose district is screwed up, who's been in office for 15, 20 years, and he's literally defending the thousands of people that are on Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare that are aged 100 to 350 years old, who are the same people that they used to steal the election, who are the same people that they're using to embezzle money, then you are a bumbling, stumbling, falling over, acid drinking idiot. Because he is not servicing his community whatsoever. Talking about his constituents are scared. Well, guess what? If I'm in this position and my constituents come to me and say, well, Representative Williams, Donald's cutting on Medicaid and Medicare. The truth of the matter is you need to educate your constituents. I would have a meeting. I would have a chart. I say, hey, you want to know why Medicare and Medicaid is in jeopardy? Because we got this amount of money going to people who do not exist. And I would say, does anybody know anybody in the hood that's 120 years old? No, I don't know nobody. You know anybody in the hood that's 200 years old? No. Okay. So this is where your money's going. And I would educate my constituents and say, There's something very terrible going on right now, and we need to get to the bottom of it. So I'm gonna need you to calm down, calm down, calm down. Let me do the job you elected me to do, baby. And let me go see what it is. And guess what? I would get reelected over and over and over and over again because I'm doing the job. Not doing a job based on fear, not bringing old black women into fear, not bringing old black men into fear. Oh Lord, you know that Trump, he gonna go into church, he gonna take all Medicare, Medicaid. Yeah, love and happiness. Well, yeah, he don't love us and he ain't gonna give us no happiness. Well, come on, man. Now all of a sudden he won't play victim. Listen to him.
Against our civility.
So it's the best way to get it across to a person who uses his incivility against our civility. So at that moment, he figured the best way to do it was to stand up and point his cane. You hear this, right? Now let's go back to what he's saying up here. This is the problem with these people. They liars. Like, I'm cool if he was a dog about it. It was like, I say what I said, it is what it is. Respect it or check it. I'm like, man, I can't say nothing about that, man. But then you come back and you play victim. And this is what bothers me about these people. Because they're liars. I'm going to tell you like this. If I say something about you or to you, I said it. It is what it is. We can talk it out, box it out, stab it out, shoot it out. I don't care. That's what I said. You know what I'm saying? If I was wrong in what I said, then I'll apologize. But if I said it and I'm right, I'm standing by it. So here we go. Here's him again in context after that.
But as I was doing so, the president had just made his statement about having not a landslide, but having a mandate.
Which he does.
A mandate. And I was caught up in the moment. I didn't go to do what I did. I was caught up in the moment, and I turned and I said to him, you don't have a mandate to cut Medicaid. And the speaker gave me an admonishment. I continued, and he gave me another admonition, and I continued, and then I was ordered to be escorted out of the chamber. And I complied, and the people who escorted me out were very kind. I hold no animus toward the speaker. He did what the rules require. The president that evening called the Democratic members of Congress lunatics.
You are.
On national TV.
You just proved it.
The president called them lunatics. He did so, and he has not been reprimanded. He won't be censured. He uses incivility to take advantage of our civility. Well, I was walking out because I didn't want to suffer the incivility of the president.
I'm sure you've seen the part of the president.
Wait, so he was walking out. Not, first of all, he was thrown out. Now he was walking out. Do you see the pure madness? Let's just see what the TMZ people have to say. And you know, TMZ is a friendly place for these clowns. So let's just see what they got to say. Why is he standing like that so sassy? Why he's so sassy? Look how he just standing there so sassy on the left.
President's speech where, I mean, talk about decorum. And you're right. You, as you say, you don't hold any ill will against Speaker Johnson, and he was doing what he had to for decorum. But there came a point during the speech where the president of the United States looked at a senator, a sitting senator, and referred to her as Pocahontas.
Yeah. He been calling her Pocahontas. We all call her Pocahontas. So this is a frame of victimhood. We're victims. He victimized us. And this is the craziest thing about these people. Whether it be TMZ, whether it be Pocahontas, whether it be Sharpton right here, whether it be, well, I'm calling him Sharpton, Al Green, there's no accountability for anything. Pocahontas wants the Ukrainian war to go on forever. So Pocahontas, who has no children, wants to see men and women's children die forever. I'm telling you now, there needs to be rule changes. You can't be in the Congress and the Senate unless you got a family, unless you got stake in the game. You can't be a single woman with no children or a married woman with no children and be in Congress, or a married man with no children and be in Congress or Senate, because you have no stake in the future. It's all about you. Now, I don't want you to don't be going over to Russia and adopting no children, coming back and getting on some Epstein type stuff. Oh, we adopted kids from India. We adopted some of the little black kids from Haiti. We got us some cookies from Haiti. No, some pizzas. No, we ain't talking about none of that. You need to have children, have a family. Because one of the problems we have is rules are being, and legislation is being written by people who have no interest in the future of America, only now. I don't want to talk about them. See, this is why I be taking breaks. This is Trump speaking about the stock market.
President Trump, what's your thought about why the markets are so spooked? Do you think they don't like the tariffs, or do they not like the uncertainty with some of the changes and the carve-outs?
Well, a lot of them are globalist countries and companies that won't be doing as well because we're taking back things that have been taken from us many years ago. We've been treated very unfairly as a country. We protect everybody. We do everything for all these countries. And a lot of these are globalist in nature. You know, they have, if you're outside of the United States, you know, it's going to be a little bit different. We just weren't treated right. We were ripped off as a country. I've been saying it for a long time. And I did it to a certain extent in the first administration, but with COVID coming in, we had to focus on that toward the end. But we had the greatest economy in history in the first administration, and I think we'll do even better now. But this is something that we have to do. There'll always be a little short-term interruption. I don't think it's going to be big, but the countries and companies that have been ripping us aren't particularly happy with what I'm doing. But
Now, this is what I love about what he's actually doing. I said this the last video, I'm going to say it again. As tariffs go out, as rules and regulations change, as the American economy gets turned back on, this is the greatest opportunity for you and your family that there will ever be. And I'll explain to you why. Because somebody be like, DW, you don't know what you're talking about. You never ran a business, even though you're sitting here watching me run a business. DW, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not smart, even though it's verified, electrical engineering degree, minor in physics, worked for United States Space and Strategic Defense Command, recruited by them at age 19, whatever. The point I'm making to you is this. You've never had such a confluence of opportunity. So you have the rolling out of artificial intelligence where the average individual can put their hands on artificial intelligence, while there are rules and regulations being brought in that free up the marketplace for you as an American citizen to make more money. So you have a super intelligence that can help you exploit a marketplace right now. So the advantage of the guy who's like, oh, you know, I've been in business for 40 years. You know, I've been in an import-export business for 40 years. You know, this is a tough business to get into. You got to learn the lessons the hard way. You know, you got to kiss my ring if you want to learn how to do this. No, you can sit there and talk to the AI and say, hey, I want to get into A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Can you go do the research? Can you explain the things to me? Blah, 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 blah. And then you get the basic structure of what needs to be done. So that 10 years is condensed down to maybe a month. And then there's the people aspect of it. And that's going to always be a problem where there's people involved. And if you don't know the right people, then you got a problem. But even the AI can teach you how to get around this. That guy who's like, you're going to have to kiss my ring. If you want to get in, here's my ring, kiss it. Kiss my ring. You'll just find a way around him if you're smart. You just so happen to be at the same restaurant where everybody else is. And you'll just so happen to figure out who his biggest competitor is. And then you go sit down with his biggest competitor. Or its second biggest competitor. Or its third biggest competitor. And you're going to start talking to him. You're going to build relationships. And then he'll be in a room and you'll be like, oh, so you decided you weren't going to kiss my ring. You decided you was going to go be with my competitor. And be like, hey, man, I came to you first, baby, and you acted like a punk. So I went to your competitor. I don't need the biggest market share. All I need to do is make me $2-3 million a year. I got what I want. And that's it. I'm not a threat to you. That's the point I'm making. You're in the greatest time ever. Moving on into the news, some more news. One of the things that I think is awesome is that we know that the SBA, the Small Business Administration of the United States of America, was giving out loans to illegals. Like somebody was handing out potato chips at a kid's softball game. Like one of them like it was a soccer mom handing out snacks at the soccer game. And we, the American people, when it's time for us to get an SBA loan, they put you through hell. Yeah. COVID SBA loan. Oh no, you got to give us all that money back. Yeah, we need all that bread. Illegals, they just gave it to them. Oh, they ain't put nothing on your credit report. They ain't do nothing for them. They just gave them money. I'm happy to hear that they're going to get rid of this and that somebody's going to put American citizens first. And this is all, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, if you really look at what Donald Trump is doing from a 100,000-foot view, he had to come and fix SBA, because you're going to need people to go into business to fill in these gaps and these voids of what's going on. And so they're going to need federal funding. So it's like he's a marionette doing all these things at once. And it's the Lord doing them himself, because there's no way no one man can do a plan that's all encompassing like this unless it was divine strategy. So it's like bing, boom, 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 boom. And it's all moving. It's amazing to see it all move.
Small business is big business, and 99% of our companies across America are small businesses. And so we're going to make sure that this agency delivers the resources that they need to law-abiding Americans. And that's why today we're announcing that the SBA is moving out of sanctuary cities. We are making sure that none of our services go to illegal aliens, and we're cracking down on Biden-era fraud that really that administration facilitated. They lowered the guardrails. They let people into the programs that shouldn't have been there, and we're going to hold those criminals accountable. Small business is...
It's a beautiful thing, because there were ample illegals getting money. Now you're talking about PPP loan fraud and all the rest of that. You're going to go to prison over that. Sorry. They're locking your dumb behind up. That it is what it is. They're going to lock you up. But outside of that, man, it's a great thing that we have this opportunity. It's a great thing. Let's jump to what's going on in South Africa right now. That shouldn't have hit. Breaking. President Donald Trump invites South African foreigners with families to the United States with rapid pathway to USA citizenship. South Africa is being terrible, plus 2 long-time foreigners in the country. They are confiscating their land and farms, and much worse than that, a bad place to be right now. And we're stopping all federal funding to go a step further. Any foreigner with family from South Africa seeking to flee that country for reasons of safety will be invited to the United States of America with rapid pathway to citizenship. This process will begin immediately. This came out after the president of South Africa said that if you white and you got a form, they're going to take your form and they're going to kill you. And he even said, go to America as a refugee. Let me see if I can find his crazy behind. Now, I don't need to say what's about to happen in South Africa. I don't think I need to even express to you what's getting ready to happen next in South Africa. But I'll say it anyway, because ain't nobody else going to say it, because everybody else is scared to tell the truth. Come on, let me get to the South African guy. Here it is. It took forever for me to find it. And of course, it adds editing onto my library of things to do, but here it is.
Before invading the nations, the U.S. always fabricates human rights violation to justify intervention. Today, same tactics are being used against South Africa. The growing calls by right-wing groups for foreign funding to establish independent states and to be armed by foreign interest must be recognized as part of a broader plan. This is the early stage of economic isolation, leading ultimately to military intervention. Next, AGOA will be terminated, escalating tensions between USA and South Africa. Our government must dismiss opportunistic African and racist groups exploiting US imperialism to fund their racist fantasies of an independent state. That will never happen. We will expropriate land without compensation, whether they like it or not. If they object, they can seek refuge in America. Deputy Speaker, Trump and the USA are not demonstrating strength. The USA is merely displaying an advanced stage of capitalism, which is imperialism. Trump engages in transactional and manipulative relationships with the world like it is his backyard. The hostility towards South Africa does not come from fraudulent boers spreading disinformation, but from America's imperialist agenda. The USA, home of the world's most sophisticated intelligence agencies that fabricate evidence to justify the invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq, and orchestrated the assassination of Muammar Gaddafi, Patrice Lumumba, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X, cannot now claim to be victims of disinformation from a minor racist group based in Orania. The USA has openly embraced the golden age of imperialism, extending its power through threats and the prevention and termination of foreign aid. In response, our government foolishly seeks to explain our policies to a maniacal president as if the USA were a victim of misinformation. The USA knows exactly what it's doing and why it is doing it. At a Golden Sachs event of the 27th of February 2025, South Africa President Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa stated, I quote, "Trump got the wrong end of the stick of the country's land policies. I completely reject this notion. The USA, home of Elon Musk's platform, X platform, Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Tesla, Starlink, and Silicon Valley, the global hub of data collection, cannot claim to be misinformed."
I'm going to tell you something. Nobody going to tell you this. South Africa is about to spiral into a hole. They're going to spiral into poverty. They're going to spiral into lack. They're going to spiral unlike anything you've ever seen. And they have the right to. Now, the thing that stands out to me about this is over the aid that was initially being cut. And so now Trump has cut even more aid from them. And so, okay, you got the right. I'm an American citizen. I am a South African citizen. Wasn't born in South Africa. And I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana at Methodist Hospital at night in the dark. You understand what I'm saying? I ain't got a damn thing in common with South Africa. And what's going to happen over the next couple of months is when it gets bad there, which it will get bad, because you got to understand, they're going to pull all the farmers out. The farmers are going to leave out of the region. The farmers are going to come to America. They'll get put in a position where they can start farming because we need farmers. And then when all the hell breaks loose in Africa, they're going to be like, oh, America did it. America did it. No, you ran out the farmers from your nation. And it's going to be what it's going to be. And so now Elon has turned off Starlink because they're attacking him. This is the craziest thing. If you were to go back and look 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there were videos where they were going into people's houses just purely because they were white. They were going into their houses and murdering them. When they start talking about expropriating your farm, they're talking about killing you and taking your land. There were houses to where the bedrooms, like you could get into the house, but to get to the bedroom area, they had bars, metal bars inside, like a jail cell inside of their bedroom in their house, because people were bringing to their homes. In order for them to be safe, they had metal bars inside of their houses. To me, personally, racism is unacceptable in any place. I'm sorry, it's unacceptable whether it be black on white, white on black. And to me, a racist is a pure idiot. You're the dumbest person on the planet, whether you be black or whether you be white. You factor in the fact that you're trying to do genocide with it, which is essentially what they're talking about, and expropriating land, which is stealing land. And then you get your aid cut off, and then the people get pulled out of the area and they get an opportunity to leave. Yeah, you're going to crumble. So we can anticipate South Africa crumbling, unlike anything you've ever seen. And if you go back and look at the history of how South Africa became the way it became, the person here is not lying at all. He ain't lying. South Africa was the first nation to go through what the globalists were trying to put America through. Open borders and refugees going into the nation. They were the first one. Very first one. And what ended up happening is the borders got open, the refugees came in, the refugees took over, And now the refugees are full on, they want to steal land and kill people. So this is what the globalists did to South Africa. And they were the original experimental playground for what we see now going on in Europe and America and everywhere else. So don't get me wrong. When this dude is talking, he ain't really lying. There's some things that's lies, some things that are true. When you start talking about imperialism and using aid as a weapon, you ain't lying. But it wasn't Trump that did it. No, it wasn't Trump that did it. In fact, a lot of it happened under Obama, the black dude that's supposed to be from Kenya. Yeah, Gaddafi. He got whacked under Hussein Obama by Hillary Clinton. Yeah. I dare you to just tell me who got whacked. That wasn't a terrorist under Trump. I remember Soleimani got whacked and we saw his finger laying on the side of the road. He's like, I hit him with the biggest bomb I've ever seen, the biggest bomb. But what nation got overthrown under Trump? You ain't gonna find one. Now we're about to get our first one overthrown, which is Zelensky in the Ukraine. That's definitely happening. That's definitely coming down the pipeline. You can take that one to the bank. But it's justifiable and we know why it's happening. All right, moving on to the next thing in the news. I want to talk about, here are farmers talking about tariffs. Now the news is going to tell you that tariffs cause inflation. And if you go just do basic economics, you got the AI, ask the AI, what would cause tariff inflation more? Tariffs or government spending? Which one causes it? And just talk to it, be like, hey, if you had to weigh which one causes inflation the most, you had to put a percentage weight on it, just ask the AI, it's going to tell you. Government spending. It's going to tell you 100% government spending. You don't know why? Because tariffs actually bring money in. They do. Government spending sends money out. But nonetheless, let's listen to what the forums have to say. And again, I'm going to remind you, ladies and gentlemen, everything that the globalists do creates an opportunity for you. DW, what you talking about? Hey, man, egg prices is high. You got a whole bunch of damn chickens at your house. If you don't put them damn eggs in a carton and go talk to the store and say, hey, man, I know I can supply you with this many eggs. If you don't go stand on the corner with your eggs from your chickens in a carton and sell your eggs at a cheaper price as organic eggs, while somebody going in the store to pay $9 an egg, they come get them from you for $3, then you done lost your mind. You missing the opportunity. See, this is the problem, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, with the social media knowing things. And it's like this knowing, like I know what's going on. It's kind of like I'm watching everything that's going on. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? Yeah, did you hear Trump did this? Did you hear that Musk did this? Did you hear? It's okay to know, but knowledge without being able to apply it is just filling your brain up with a bunch of useless knowledge. So when I hear, yeah, man, they got a shortage on chickens and the egg prices is real high, I said, damn, I wish I had me some chickens. Damn, I wish I had me some land in the country with a lot of chickens. Then I said, well, what does it take for me to go get some land in the country with a lot of chickens? Let me look at this. No, that's too expensive. What would it take for me to find somebody who got some land in the country that got some chickens? That's about 6 months. Prices might be done came down to 6 months while I got that done. That's not gonna work. What would it take for me to find somebody who got chickens on their property and they just don't know how to get the product to the market? How much money could I make by helping them get their product to the market? There ain't enough money for me to do that. I'm not gonna do it for that price. That's not gonna make me enough money. All right. What would it take if I just gave 10 hours to somebody who wanted to get their product to the market and explain it to them and let them do it themselves, and then I get a discount on eggs from them? I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. And I get all the eggs I need at a discount. Knowledge is given to you so you can take advantage of opportunities. And we're in an environment where everybody just wants, I'm smart, I know what's going on. DW, you need to look this up. Hey, DW, you think you know everything. You need to look this up. No, I don't need to know every damn thing. You don't need to know every damn thing. You need to know enough to make the right decisions. That's the problem that happened with 2020. Ain't nobody have enough information to make the right decisions. Guess who had enough information to make the right decision? Guess who was a pure blood? Yay, yay. Yay. Pure blood. Yay, yay.
You know, RCAF USA welcomes the 25% tariffs on Canadian and Mexican beef and cattle, and we want more. And here's why. For decades now, we've argued that free trade, meaning when tariffs are reduced to zero, was harming American farmers and ranchers, particularly cattle and sheep farmers and ranchers. Our logical arguments against free trade included that many foreign countries had lower wages, lower production standards, relaxed environmental standards, and weaker currencies. We argued that each of these advantages give foreign countries an inherent pricing advantage over domestic producers. But our logical arguments were simply dismissed based on the theoretical underpinnings of free trade. The free trade architects simply said none of that really mattered, that America can outcompete anyone and would come out on top in a zero tariff world. Well, what wishful thinking that was. Since zero tariffs for cattle and beef went into effect between the US, Canada, and Mexico in 1994, the US has lost about 285,000 beef cattle farmers and ranches. Our national cattle herd has shrunk by about 6.5 million mother cows, and we've eliminated over 87,000 farmer feeders from our domestic supply chain's marketing outlets. What zero tariffs did was allow global importers to displace domestic farmers and ranchers,
yes, sir,
domestic cattle, and domestic cattle feeding operations.
What the super articulate country boy with a cowboy hat is saying is zero tariffs or free trade was a globalist policy that allowed globalists to access our market, our consumer market, and utterly decimate our manufacturing base in every area of life. He's real long-winded, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he's been waiting on this moment for years. He looks like he's been advocating for this moment for a long time. So out of respect for his advocacy over the years, I'm going to let it play completely out. But I just wanted to sum it up for you in case you was getting bored, because he was kind of hitting it with that brainwashing, staying tone like blah, 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 blah. Nobody want to hear that. Get out of here with that. But we're going to let him roll with it.
Opportunities with cheaper imports. And this has resulted in the alarming contraction of our domestic beef supply chain. Zero tariffs threaten our national security by dismantling our domestic food supply chain and by forcing Americans to become more and more dependent on foreign supply chains for such important staples as beef and lamb.
And that's how we get to the point to where Bill Gates could be like, yeah, I'm Bill Gates. And me and my wife over here, who looks like a dude with a chin, but don't worry, that's Melinda's a woman. We want to, beef is a problem. And we need to understand that the CO2 is affecting the environment. And because of the CO2 levels, what we need to do is we need to modify the cows, put needles in them. And what we're going to do is modify their gut biome to where they don't pass gas, because the methane that comes out of the cows is affecting the atmosphere. And essentially the cows won't eat grass anymore. They will eat corn, but the corn that they eat won't be real corn. It'll be my genetically modified corn. And the combination of the genetic modified shot that I gave the cow plus the combination of the corn that I give the cow will genetically mutate the cow to where it can survive in areas where there's extreme drought. And so the cows don't really need water, so they can just survive in a desert, in the oasis, in areas of extreme drought. And then we'll genetically modify the oasis, the desert, to turn it into, with weather modification, we'll create some kind of oases in the desert. So when the cows need water, you know, you can come to my oasis that I own and you can pay me so your cow can get water in the desert, because I'm the one that genetically modified the desert to make it wet. Okay? And we still need to get the CO2 number low on the planet because, CO2 equals people plus products plus contamination plus this. And, one of these things are going to have to go to zero. Either the people are going to have to go to zero, the products are going to have to go to zero, the contamination is going to have to go to zero. And in my opinion, it's going to be the people. And I'm Bill Gates. And this message is brought to you by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Hey, Bill. Yes. Is it true that Melinda left you because you want Epstein Island? That's between me and Melinda. And I don't like when people talk about Malcolm like that. I mean, Melinda like that because, that's our business. That's private business. Hey, Bill. Yes. Bill. Well, you make the whole world your business. We want to know your business. Our food is your business. Our life is your business. Our health is your business. What's up with you and Melinda? Malcolm and Melinda and I we don't want our personal business shared with the world. On top of that, Trump just cut off all our USAID money, and things are real rough for me right now because I'm used to getting $5 billion a month, and I'm only working on $1 billion, and I have all these nonprofits that everybody wants something from Bill Gates right now, and the money is just not there. So I don't know. Okay, I need a break. Bill needs a break.
Zero tariffs on lamb and mutton have all but destroyed our nation's commercial sheep industry. While the cattle industry has been shrinking for decades, the sheep industry is nearing the loss of the critical infrastructure needed to produce even 30% of the lamb meat consumed in America. In less than a generation, the sheep industry has lost nearly 5 million sheep from the U.S. sheep herd, lost over half of our full-time domestic sheep producers, and our non-global domestic lamb packing plants are struggling to survive as there aren't enough domestic lambs available to keep their packing plants running at economical levels.
Now, what do you hear? I'm going to tell you what James Williams, the Stankonia ambassador, hears. The Stankonian hears that if the Stankonian's hearing, watch the tariffs, keep watching the waters, because the tariffs go across the waters. He's hearing, keep watching the waters and watch the tariffs on the waters. And then if these tariffs keep moving forward, then what he's hearing is all of this production has got to come back. If Canada doesn't bow down and Donald says, hey, Trudeau, you can be the 51st state or we can destroy you. Donald, I'm going to do it to you, baby. I'm going to do it because he'll do it. He'd be probably on the phone with Trudeau like, Trudeau, I'll do it. Right? Trudeau's like, no, Mr. President. No, I'll do it. I'm the greatest president ever. I hit you with 25%. I'll hit you with 100%. Right? I'll do it. You're not popular. I'll do it. I know you only got 22 days left. So I'm trying to make this easy on you, buddy. But, you're not listening to me. You're taking the liquor off the shelves, but you already paid for the liquor. That's the dumbest thing on the planet. But you can parade around and take the liquor off the shelves, but I'll do it to you. I'll make sure that the next person comes in is dealing with 100% tariffs. The people will hang you in the streets, Trudeau. They'll hang you in the streets. But I'm hoping, like this man, that he says, yeah. Canada's tripping. Let's hit them with 100% tariffs. Because what it tells me is that this industry is going to come roaring back. Just the reciprocal tariffs themselves mean that all these industries are going to start growing again. So what are we hearing in the Dark Waters family? Everybody else is just talking about the politics. Yeah, Trump is doing this. No. Listen. This means that if you over there in the Appalachian Mountains, if you in West Texas, because a lot of y'all off in nice little rural areas, boy, they got opportunities coming your way. Now, for y'all that's in the cities, in the big blue cities, ain't nothing coming your way right now. You still under the rule and law of the sanctuary city. Yeah, but for all folk out there in the country, you better be looking at this and figuring out how you get your paper. Yeah. And then don't worry about it when you start your little chicken farm or whatever, and then somebody come up and they be like, you racist because you started your chicken farm. Just open up your phone and be like, I ain't racist. My big homie, the black dude, who the hell is that? You know, the big black dude, Doc Waters, my big homie, he the one that put me up on it and showing my face. Click the video. And then you can click the video, then in the future. So I'm speaking to the person right now in the future that's gonna call you a racist. Hey, what the hell is wrong with you? You better go sit down somewhere. Sit down. Don't be calling my people racist. Sit down. Now we came back from the future, we back to the normal time. We're going on to the next thing. Everything is about fear and loathing. And so every interview that you're going to see on CNN is going to be about bringing people into fear. They already try to bring the elderly people in fear and give them heart attacks. Now, mind you, these the same Democratic Party that was telling the elderly people, don't have dinner with your children. You 80 years old, watching Joy Reid. And Joy Reid telling you because your granddaughter or your grandson didn't vote for Kamala. Quit it. Didn't vote for Kamala Harris. Don't have dinner with your granddaughter or your grandson or your son and daughter. And you about to die. This is how hateful these people are.
It's not cutting red tape, right? So far it is freezing contracts and it is cutting workers, right? Indiscriminately. You have the president saying he's going to convene bi-weekly cabinet sessions to make things precise, which is his word, right? To make things precise here. So this internal VA memo that's talking about returning staffing to 2019 levels, zero aware because you voted for it in 2022 when it was signed into law. 2019 predates that when millions more veterans became eligible for VA benefits due to the PACT Act, that landmark bill that you voted for.
He said he cutting 70,000 jobs at VA. He ain't say he cutting 70,000 VA benefits. You got AI technology. You don't need all them damn jobs.
That President Biden signed to cover veterans.
And the craziest thing is this is what they won't talk about. A huge part of those people have been at the VA forever. They about to retire and get their benefits and go off to live happy. They always throw the numbers around, but if you really think about it for a moment, it don't really matter. The news media is such gaslighting.
Veterans affected by toxic exposures like burn pits. How do you take care of all these new claimants when you're looking at cuts this large?
See?
Look, like I said, I'm just not seeing it. I mean, the VA is a large bureaucracy. It can be run so much more efficiently. It's not about bricks and mortar and more government employees. It's about the veteran. Put the veteran first. And that's what President Trump is focused on. That's what I'm focused on in the Senate on the Veterans Affairs Committee. We're going to make sure that the VA works better for our veterans than it's ever worked before.
Does it put veterans first to cut people who work on their benefits?
Yes, absolutely. Because everybody knows that when the VA system is broken, I had to take my father-in-law to the VA. Man, we sitting there all damn day long. And I'm sitting there, these people doing stuff with paper. The computers is old. I'm sitting there saying, I'm like, yo, Pops, whoa, how long is it gonna take for? Well, James, you're gonna have to just get comfortable, son. What you mean? Because, you know, this is how it will happen when you go to the VA. You sit here for hours. That don't make no damn sense. In the greatest nation in the world, that the veterans who went over there and got shot in the behind got to sit for days and hours to get something done. But then the illegals can come over here and be like, hey, Holmes, I'm illegal. I need health care. And they get some health care? No. If the system was functioning and working with 70,000 employees, or extra 70,000 employees, couldn't nobody point a finger at it. And this is the reality of it. If it was working, you wouldn't have nobody trying to cut the job. The reason why you're getting the job cuts is because y'all ain't doing y'all job. Yeah.
Or who provide
I'm just
them
not convinced
healthcare.
that that's happening. I'm not convinced that that's happening.
I'm
can I
ask you, Senator, are you talking to your constituents?
I hear from my constituents every day. They want the VA to be less bureaucratic and more focused on the veteran. I am a veteran. That's what President Trump is focused on.
And you know the craziest thing about CNN? There's an earpiece in her ear where people are giving her instructions as it's like probably 4-on-1 in this interview. And you'll notice this with everybody on CNN that has like their individual shows. There's always an ear where you can't see what's in the ear, And if you notice their eye movement while someone's talking, you can tell they're listening because their eyes are kind of darting back and forth. Only the good ones can listen to both conversations at the same time. She's not a good one. So they're telling her what to say to try and get under his skin. And he just shooting straight with her. This is the mainstream monkey media. You know what I'm saying? Mainstream monkey media. They got white monkeys. They got black monkeys on there. They got Chinese monkeys. They a bunch of damn monkeys. Throwing poop all over the place.
That's what I'm focused on as well. The talking points of the VA cutting necessary employees who are focused on veterans is bogus. It's not provable. The fact is that DOJ, President Trump, myself, Republicans in the Senate and the Congress, we're going to make sure that this VA works better for veterans than ever before. I guarantee it.
You're aware they cut people from the hotline, right? And then reinstated them. But that there are still a number of key support staff on that hotline who have not been rehired, the silent monitors and other folks. I mean, are you tracking that?
I'm tracking that the VA is a large bureaucracy, and there are ways to make it more efficient to work better for veterans. I can keep repeating that over and over again.
That's direct care to veterans who are utilizing.
There are no signs that the VA There are no signs that the VA is working less for our veterans today than what it was 45 days ago. President Trump is focused on our veterans, delivering care to our veterans.
I can't listen no more of this. And can we go to something that I want to watch? I want to go to something that's beautiful. Sorry, I don't want to hear them clowns no more. I saw this morning when I rolled over and I thought this was amazing. And I love amazing things like this. Let me say this to you. I want to see America get back to the point to where we have amazing children running around in America, where they ain't on social media bullying everybody, showing their breasts, running around with too tight clothes, where we just have amazing children. Remember they used to have them Kids Got Talent shows? You know, last time you seen a Kids Talent show where a kid was playing a tuba or a kid playing a piano. You wanna know why? Because those classical things that were important are no longer important. The talent now is to play Fortnite in the virtual world. Right now, I'm talking to you through the virtual box in the virtual world in the Matrix. And they ain't talking about the same Matrix that's attacking Cobra Tate. Andrew Tate, the Matrix is not attacking you. You turned out to be just a piece of shit when you really look into you. And you have enough words that prove you're a piece of shit to come from the past and chase you down like this, like roof, 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 like a dog man chasing you. You can't get away from what you said and what you did, Cobra Tate. Go, shorty. Get him. Here it comes. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I needed a break. And every time I need a break, I'm about to come back to Little Russian Kid playing classical music. Just to pull my brain out of the pit. Now let's go jump back into the crazy pit of fools. Here we go. You know it's going to be MSNBC or CNN. He got the ashes on his head. Like, it means something. And he gonna go get his Ash Wednesday ashes and then come on TV and lie. Watch this.
There are people who are charged with trying to find savings. So yes, it's an attack on government, but it's also an attack on this government. What I mean by that is it's an attack on this government that used to be headed by a black man. It's an attack on this government that almost elected a black woman to the
Wait, let me get this logic together. So saving the taxpayers' money is an attack on the government. This is why I told y'all, see, there's right wing, left wing, same bird, and then there's an eagle. He's talking about the vulture bird. It is an attack on the vulture bird. But now he's framing it like, how do you frame this as racism? With the ashes on your forehead. See, Lord, you should strike people like this with lightning. Like there should be lightning bolts that come out of the damn lights above him and just shock him straight through his brain. This is insane. Listen to it.
There are people who are charged with trying to find savings. So yes, it's an attack on government, but it's also an attack on this government. What I mean by that is it's an attack on this government that used to be headed by a black man. It's an attack on this government that almost elected.
And you notice how he smiles as he's playing a race card? There was a attack by a black man. Look at the smile. That little devilish ass smile. This is a demon.
A black woman to the highest office in the land. It's an attack on a government that has been more welcoming and more supportive of people who have come to this country in search for a better life. There are people who are...
Okay, so saving money for the American tax-paying citizen is racist against black men, racist against black women is what he said, and it's racist against anybody who came into the nation illegally. That's what this Negro just said. That's what he just said. And we said it with a smile on his face. With the ashes on his head, he clearly went to church. Unless maybe he just took a little Sharpie and smudged it on his finger and did like this. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. It's absolutely insane. This is one of the most important things I've seen today. This is Putin talking about Zelensky. Daddy fighting Nazis and Zelensky sporting Nazis. And I've said this a couple of times. I said, hey man, you know, what's going on in Ukraine is not just warfare, it's spiritual warfare. And then I extrapolated it out and I said, you know, everybody be like, DW, you know, it's about the Jews. And I was like, man, you're not really paying no attention. And he'd be like, you don't know about the Khazarians. Of course, that's their home territory. It's why all the money funneling through there. It's why the flag is the Khazar flag. But ain't no need for me to go into all that foolishness. If you know, you know. Ukraine is the center of all money laundering, sex trafficking, child trafficking, and everything else. That's what it is. It's the heart of evil. Yeah, the heart of evil right now. And Putin quickly talks about it.
У него же отец воевал с фашистами, с нацистами во время Второй мировой войны. Я как-то с ним говорил об этом. Я говорил, Володя, ну что ты делаешь? Зачем ты поддерживаешь сегодня неонацистов на Украине, когда твой отец воевал с фашизмом? Он фронтовик. Я не буду говорить, что он ответил. Это отдельная тема, я считаю это некорректным. Но что касается свободы выбора, почему нет? Он же пришел к власти на ожиданиях украинского населения, что он приведет Украину к миру. Он об этом и говорил. Он за счет этого и победил на выборах с огромным преимуществом. Ну а потом, когда к власти пришел, на мой взгляд, понял две вещи. Во-первых, лучше не ссориться с неонацистами и националистами, потому что они агрессивные, очень активные, от них можно ожидать чего угодно. А во-вторых, Запад во главе с Соединенными Штатами их поддерживает и всегда будет поддерживать тех, кто борется с Россией. Это выгодно и безопасно. Вот он и занял соответствующую позицию, несмотря на обещание своему народу прекратить войну на Украине. Он обманул своих избирателей.
So basically, He's saying Zelensky came into power and he was voted in with the expectation that there wouldn't be war, that he would be a populist president. And then when he got into power, he ran into the neo-Nazi party inside of Ukraine, which was furnished and supported by the West, the United States of America. And he had a choice to make. Was he going to fight the neo-Nazis inside of Ukraine and probably get overthrown? Or was he going to give in to them, turn, and participate in the attack against Russia, which meant that all the money would flow into the Ukraine and he could get rich? And when you start talking about the neo-Nazis, we got to go back to the World Economic Forum. You go back to the EU and NATO. And now you see why all that money is pouring into the Ukraine. Because it's where they launder their money. And Russia's supposed to be the, what do you call it? The punching bag of the neo-Nazis. So we send all our money over here, we beat up on Russia. And then we embezzle the money while we send a few rockets to hit Russia and blah, 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 blah. And worst case scenario in their mind, well, if worst case scenario, we get caught, we just blow up the whole world. Yeah, let's just go to World War III, screw it. Man, you're dealing with a bunch of damn psychopaths. It's laid out right in front of you. And now I need to calm down again, so I'm going back to my little Russian boy. Thank you, kid. I appreciate it. That's enough. Just to reset my brain. Because I'm telling you, your brain kind of loses it. All right, here, let's touch on Chris Cuomo. Almost messed it up. Let's start off with this. I want to say this about Chris Cuomo. If anybody remembers Chris Cuomo, he was a hardcore leftist. I mean, he was Trump derangement personified. He was number 2 in the Trump derangement hierarchy. Then when he saw where things were going, this is why I give him credit for him and Stephen A. Smith. These are the people who serpents. He saw it. He said, oh, hell, down about to win this. I got this polling data. I'm looking around. I'm going to move to the center. And then I'm going to launch this new style of attack. Do y'all remember he apologized? He was like, well, I want to apologize to Donald Trump and blah, blah, blah. He left the network he was on, which I want to say was MSNBC, or it wasn't CNN. He left the network he was on. Then he came to News Nation, to where he can be in the center and launch attacks from the center. So anytime I see Chris Cuomo, when I hear anything Chris Cuomo has to say, all I remember is ding, 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 Trump derangement syndrome. Ding, 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 Trump derangement syndrome. And watch this conversation.
Donald Trump last night did what he wanted to do. Number one, he got on the record that his accomplishments in the first 6 weeks were fairly extraordinary, which is true, both good and bad. And number two, he taunted the Democratic Party into making a myriad of mistakes. I think the Democratic Party is on the verge of collapse.
Yep.
And I liken it to 1931, when Herbert Hoover and the Republican Party basically said to the very suffering American people in the Depression, we're not helping you. You got to do it on your own. It's all about self-reliance. We're not going to give you any safety nets. That led to 5 consecutive Democratic wins. 5. Not until Dwight Eisenhower, 20 years later, did the Republicans recover. I see the same scenario for the Democrats. So I wrote a message of the day on BillO'Reilly.com, which I know you read every morning, first thing. It said, hey, didn't the far left, the Elizabeth Warrens, used to be against war? Vietnam, they're against Iraq, Afghanistan, they didn't want to whack Soleimani. Biden didn't even want to get bin Laden. Well, wasn't that their posture? But now, all of a sudden, they want to go in Ukraine and go and go and go and go. What happened? What happened was Trump hatred. And that's what...
I disagree with you, Bill O'Reilly. No, it's not just Trump hatred. It's the reason why they want to go and go and go and go and go is because we had multiple presidencies where they embezzled. The COVID rollout was the greatest opportunity for money embezzlement we see all over the world. I mean, not just in America. I mean, think about it. The pocketbooks of nations were opened everywhere, with money going to nonprofits and to organizations all over the place. So you got to a point where you got to apex money laundering, apex stealing, apex everything, the height of it. So if I'm a criminal and I'm gonna steal, once we get past this point where I done stole so much, remember we had a pandemic and then we had a war, and all this money just fled out of the country into all these different places. World Health Organizations, Chinese factories, and all of it was crazy. No. The Trump derangement syndrome, part of it is demonic possession and demonic oppression. But another part of Trump derangement syndrome is fear. It's fear of consequences and repercussions is what it is. So although Bill O'Reilly's right, he's wrong because it's fear of consequences and repercussions. And the way you know this is because at some point in time, the person in their right mind says, hey, I think you're going a little bit too far. I might need to sit down somewhere. Might just need to step down. It's all kind of options on the table. But the only option it seems that they have is to fight. What kind of corner are you backed into to where you feel like, man, I don't have no choice but to fight? That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. And so they can sit here and dress it up either way they want to dress it up. Is there such thing as Trump derangement syndrome? Yes, but now it's actually America derangement syndrome because they're anti-American, and Trump represents the populism movement in America. So you just need to rename it, no longer Trump derangement syndrome. It needs to be America greatness derangement syndrome.
The headline is of the speech last night. When you are hating someone, you lose all perspective. You lose all feeling. You're consumed. And I wrote a book that's going to be out in September called Confronting Evil. And these people who did all these terrible things, they all had one thing in common. They hated. They were just haters across the board. That's what you saw in that chamber last night.
Yeah, they were haters. I got to give them that much.